what's up, Vox and Hops heads? I'm Matt, the vocalist of Cryptopsy, and this is my podcast, Vox and Hops, where I hang out with fellow musicians, and we talk about their lives, their music, and most importantly, craft beer. This is the first interview that I conducted for this past weekend's Heavy Montreal. It wasn't conducted on site at Heavy Montreal, but it was actually a part of the Heavy en Ville, which is something that Heavy Montreal does the Friday before the festival. They have a bunch of shows in town and not on the Heavy Montreal site, which is off the island and on a separate island called Parc Jean Drapeau. And this took place at Turbo House. It was an event. It was Holy Grail and Striker together. I actually conducted this interview at Saint-Bock, which is one of the best tap houses in Montreal, and I always choose to go there when I'm in that area because they just have the best beer on tap. And I love going there, and I'm never, ever, ever disappointed. So here it is, episode number 46 with Dan Cleary of Striker.
I warn you, what you are about to hear is very disturbing indeed.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Today I'm with Dan Cleary from Striker.
That's me.
How are you doing, brother? What's going on? Tell me a little bit about yourself and, how you got into music and all that.
Well, we're just on tour right now, and with Holy Grail and Bewitcher. It's been really good. We've had a series of a couple tours that have been really fun. We did a little run with Death Angel in the States. Then we did Steel Panther in Canada, which is hilarious. And then,
Unfucking believable.
Yeah,
everything was sold out, I saw.
Almost all of it, but there were some wild shows. It was great. And then getting into music, I think I started as a guitar player, so that was sort of my in where I wanted to play guitar for whatever reason, thought it was cool, and then sort of that led to metal.
Did you grow up in a house full of musicians?
No, but my parents liked music. My dad had an old acoustic guitar he had from way back that he bought from his brother when his brother didn't want to play it or whatever, and then that got handed down to me. And that was my guitar to play until I could prove that I would stick with it until they get me an electric guitar. Same old story.
What would be the song that you proved your father?
Oh, man, the first song that got me really into guitar was the riff from Money for Nothing and Chicks for Free by, was that Steely Dan? No, it's Dire Straits.
Dire Straits,
yeah.
I Want My MTV.
Yeah. I love that song.
It's a great riff. It's still a great riff.
Something. Yeah, that's awesome.
What would be the soundtrack to your youth?
Will Smith, probably. Depends how far back we go. Yeah.
No, I mean, what music was playing in your house so that your parents were into?
It was Rolling Stones, I think, was a big one. And then Bare Naked Ladies. I don't really like Bare Naked Ladies, personally. I don't know, it's just not my style, but I listened to a lot of it as a kid, so...
They're solid musicians.
They are.
Absolutely
great,
solid musicians. We just got delivered a delicious beer. We've had it on the podcast before. I tried to not order it, but I succumbed once again. I forgot to mention we are at Saint-Bock, which is an excellent brew pub here in Montreal, probably one of the best. And I have drank this here before with Gabe Sieber from the Kennedy Vale, and now we are drinking it now. This is Boreal du Nord IPA.
Chomping at the bit
Cheers.
for this.
It smells tropical, fruity, amazing, juicy. It's super hazy, nice, very opaque. It smells amazing.
I didn't smell it. I just drank it.
Smooth. It's nice. It's almost dank a bit. It's a bit more bitter than I'm used to it being, actually. Second sip.
The bottom of the keg.
Maybe. It's been around for a while. I was mentioning that it's just became the number one beer on the IPA section of beer, ratebeer.com. Yeah. Let's talk about beer. Are you a craft beer enthusiast?
Yes. I'm a beer enthusiast, although I am very bad at keeping track of what I've drank. So okay. I'm just bulldozing my way through every type of beer and never keeping track of it, unless there's a few that stand out. There's a few favorites of mine, I really love Erdinger.
Erdinger?
Yeah, Erdinger from Germany, and We were just talking about that. La herbe de...
Herbe de détourne from
to help me on that.
Ciel. No problem.
Yeah, that one's really good.
Delicious classic Montreal beer.
And then one of my favorites is the Amnesiac. Phillips Brewery makes it. It's like a big bottle. It's
Yeah,
like
I don't know that.
double IPA. Really, really good.
What would be your go-to style of beer, your favorite style of beer? If you had to pick one and only drink one for the rest of your life.
I'd probably be IPA.
I agree.
Yeah.
Cheers. Unless it's wintertime, and then maybe I'd say a stout.
Yeah, to be honest, I like every type of beer. I just don't love sours. Because it's just like, I don't know. It doesn't taste exactly like regular beer to me, so it's kind of like outside of the realm of...
Personally, it took me a long time to get past the fact that it sort of tastes like bad grape juice or like bad grapefruit juice, let's say.
It's like I've had spoiled beer that tasted a bit like a sour, and I'm just kind of like, oh.
This sour is delectable.
Yeah. Well, I remember we went to, we recorded in Nashville with Michael Wagner, who did like Ozzy and like a bunch of bands. It was just totally crazy. They had this bar in Nashville called the Flying Saucer, and if you get like a card and you log like how many pints you've had of all the 100, they had like 100 taps or something like that.
It's like a member's card.
Yeah. So you like when you pay your bill, you like scan it, and then it like logs all your.
That's fucking cool. That's a great idea.
Oh man, it was the coolest bar. And they after you got to like a certain amount of pints, you get like a plate on the ceiling, and then if you drink even more, you get like a different colored inside of the plate, so it's like a
smaller
gold
plate,
and you get like a big, like a different color. And then they'd have on the wall, they had like all the different like amounts that you could get. So it's like the red one was like 2,000 pints or something like that.
Unfucking-believable.
And there was only like a few of them, and they had it. You get your name on it and a quote, like whatever kind of quote you want, so that you could see like people who had like drank at the same bar with like 3 people would have like a quote that was all one in a row.
That's so
and stuff.
cool. Yeah.
And we were like, we did the math, and we're like, okay, we're here for this many more days, and we just found out about this place. That's 15 pints a day, and then we can get our name on the thing. And we had like 1 second of like, if we drank like 5 in the morning and 5 in the afternoon and then 5 at night, we could like, but
I like the way you guys think.
we're like, maybe we could do it, but yeah.
I heard through the grapevine that you guys have an association with a brewery from Alberta. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, Yellowhead Brewery was doing an artist program for a bit. Sadly, it's no longer available. But
what was that like? How did that go down?
It was great. So we did like a charity event for them every year while we were sponsored, which ended up only being one time that we did it. But they gave us, it was 5 free kegs a year.
Holy shit.
And then like unlimited growler refills. So
really?
Yeah, and it was funny because they gave it to a bunch of bands, and you had to come in and write your name down on like a list of like, okay, like what band are you in, what, you know, all this stuff. And it was like only us. Like all the other bands were like,
we're
not
too well
taking
behaved.
Yeah, we're like, no, we got to get in there and get that free beer.
We don't want to take advantage of them.
Yeah, it's like every day. Our buddy, like guitar player Tim, was like in there like every day.
Anytime one of your friends would have a party, they'd call you guys and say, could you guys get us some beer?
Get the keg.
What kind of beer is Yellowhead Brewing making?
They mostly did like a lager. That was their big beer, and then they did some other stuff, which was pretty good, like a saison and stuff like that. But
you mentioned that you're from Edmonton before we started recording. What is the craft beer scene like in Edmonton?
It's really great. Actually, this company here, this is our new sponsor.
Oh, awesome.
Sea Change Brewery out
Tell
of Edmonton.
Tell me about that, yeah.
And they're the guy who was working at Yellowhead, the one who like sort of started the artist program, he decided to start his own brewery, so he left and did that, and now they're gonna hopefully start that again.
Oh, the artist program.
Get more free beer,
fucking right,
which would be sick.
At least while you're on tour.
Yeah, I mean, like, unfortunately, like, we need like that Pabst Brewery sponsorship so you can actually get it out on the road. But
yeah, at least they can give you some products so that you can stay well hydrated while you're out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What would be an absolute horror story that has happened on the road?
Horror story? Oh man. Just like the worst is our van breaking down. Like we had one van that was just like constantly breaking down on multiple tours. It's just a disaster. Like, it's the most frustrating thing because it'll only ever break down on a Saturday or Sunday when you
it's
can
closed.
never ever get it fixed. There's no one around, so yeah.
And then you miss shows, which are Saturday and Sundays, which are the best attending shows.
Yeah, it's the
You're not
worst.
selling that merch that you paid for that's sitting in the back of the van.
Yeah.
Fucking annoying.
We have a van. It's sitting in Lebanon, New Hampshire. It's been sitting there for like 2 years. It was like I can't remember what it's called, like fuel locked or something like that. So it's just like immovable. And we got it towed to a mechanic, and the mechanic's like, it's gonna be $1,000 to take it apart, $1,000 to put it together because it's something with the engine. And we're like, okay. And then they're like, and then if we have to fix stuff, it's going to be more. And we're like, well, we can't afford to like take the time to figure this out. So we just like rented a van and just left it there. We're just like, fuck it.
He's not calling you?
No.
He probably scrapped it and just took some pieces
that's what I
for
think,
sure.
yeah.
For sure. What would be a dream tour
Probably,
if you haven't already done it?
probably with Maiden. That's
Fucking
like
right, man.
That's that band Raven Age or whatever that's playing with them. It's like, damn, I'm fucking jealous of those.
That could have
dudes.
been me.
God damn. Who do they know, man? Who do they know? But
What is the moment that you're most proud of in your career?
I don't know. I'll probably have to say we opened for Metallica
Fuck off, really?
in Edmonton 2 nights in a row because we won like
When they were doing the small club thing?
when they were doing
A fucking arena
they
thing.
were filming the Through the Never
No way.
thing, and so they did like I think they only did 5 shows, and they were like to practice the filming and the show for
Yeah,
that.
of course,
So
yeah.
it's like this big production thing, and so yeah, they played 2 nights in Edmonton as part of that, and we got like selected through a radio station in Edmonton to open for Metallica 2 nights in a row.
Unfucking believable. Did you get to meet them?
Yeah, they were super fucking cool.
Awesome. That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, man, and like I got a great story about that too because the first night, because there was so much stuff, we didn't get like a dressing room, so we were sort of like on the floor behind the bleachers and just like setting up, and like we're happy
Whatever,
to be
dude,
there.
yeah.
Anything, we'll stay outside. Who
Yeah.
cares? And then luckily that was sort of in between like where you come in, like where the artists would come in and their dressing room, so they like didn't really have a choice but to walk past us, and we're like standing there just like
Hey, what's up?
waiting to like talk. But they came over there super nice, and so yeah, the next night Lars came over and he's got like a newspaper from the night before with like the review, and he's like, check it out, guys. Like,
They mentioned your name?
yeah, we're mentioning
Fucking
it,
right.
man.
That's
We're like,
amazing.
that's sick.
Do you have a copy?
I don't. Maybe my parents do probably
There
somewhere.
you go. There you go. As long as it's
they're the
somewhere.
historians.
My dad does the same.
Yeah. And then so he's like, what are you guys doing out here? And we're like, oh, there's no dressing room, because of all this stuff. And we're like, yeah, like it's fine for us, no big deal. And he's like, well, that's kind of like fucked up. It's like, you guys are open for Metallica and you don't have a dressing room. And we're like, it's fine, man, don't worry about it. So he leaves, and our other buddy Ian, who was in the band before, he's since moved on, but he was standing over by somewhere else, and then he comes walking over to us, and he's like, I just heard Lars like absolutely chew the big production manager out about how we didn't have a dressing room. And then right after that they came over and were like, the production guy, like the main dude for their production crew, was like, I'm really sorry guys, we're gonna clear some stuff out of this room back here, we're gonna get you a thing. They got like a cooler full of beer for us and stuff like that, and we're just like, man, that is
Fucking
sick.
Lars Ulrich.
Yeah, dude.
Fucking right.
Yeah.
And I wanted to hear that. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Cheers
they
to
were
Lars.
super fucking
Yeah.
cool.
What would be a misstep that you'd like to take back?
Probably learning how to sing a little bit better before I start touring. I don't know, because like, man,
How are you handling that?
it's been a lot better these days. I like sort of getting into like what I need to do to like make it work for a longer tour and stuff like that. But like, I got sick on an early tour and just like ruined my.
So
like,
sometimes
that was
you
so
can't
bad.
get around it though.
Yeah. We were touring in Europe, and so I just got like that brutal kind of sick cough with like phlegm that you just can't get rid of. And then that was like so many shows in a row, and just couldn't shake it. And then we were supposed to go in the into the studio to record an album right after the tour, which I'll never do that again.
That's hard. That's in.
Yeah, because it's just like your
I've been
voice
saying
is
the opposite.
wrecked.
For death metal for Cryptops. See, I'm saying the opposite. I want to go straight into
You all warmed up.
right after, because my voice is way better when I'm using it every night versus when I'm at home doing nothing.
Yeah.
that's
I don't
funny.
know. Maybe
Yeah.
it's different styles, maybe,
It's
but yeah.
just wear and tear
Yeah.
in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, I had to I couldn't record in the studio. I had to wait like a couple months before it was like back to where it should have been. So
The good thing about the voice is that it typically always tends to come back. There's nothing worse than being on stage
yeah,
and you're doing what you normally do
there's nothing more.
and it's just not happening.
Dude, it's the worst. That is the worst feeling. Absolutely, it's like my nightmare. I've had a few shows like that where it was like I feel like I swallowed like a bunch of bees, and then you're just like, oh, this is the worst, and you're just like, you can tell the crowd knows you're in a shit mood, and you're just like, ah.
You get into that spiral vortex of shit and
Yeah.
shame.
Yeah,
And it just
then it's
gets
hard not
worse
to
and worse.
It's hard not to drink more beer because you're like, man, I guess
Which is
feeling
why
like shit.
you have to do the opposite
Yeah.
and actually just sleep
Yeah.
and shut the fuck up and rest your voice.
That's the only thing I found that works is lots of water, lots of sleep. Everything else is kind of, I don't know.
How do you
snake
approach
oil.
doing vocals before a gig? Do you have a routine? Do you warm up?
Mostly, to be honest, it sounds really stupid, but I just drink a couple beers and like do a couple little like lip trill type things like that kind of.
I'm happy to be helping you with your warm
Yeah,
up
exactly.
right
This
now.
is a perfect interview for me. I've been playing in like an hour or something. It's like-
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. What do you guys have coming up next?
well, our drummer just quit.
Holy shit, no way.
So we're gonna go home and.
But he's on the tour.
Yeah,
he's
he's
announced that he's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
You guys have put that on socials.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's had enough.
Okay.
He's ready to go. And I've been ripping
It's
him. I'm trying-
amicable.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah?
yeah, absolutely. It's our guitar player's brother. So, I mean, they live together and stuff. So it's pretty amicable. Yeah.
Good. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
So any of you aspiring drummers out there,
Yeah.
if
There's a job opening.
you feel like you got the chops,
Yeah.
send me an email and I'll shoot it over.
Yeah. I've been ripping him every night. So if you got something good I can rip him with. Last night I said he's quitting to.
Are you saying it on stage?
Yeah, I've been saying that he's going to clown college. That was last night, and then the time before that was school janitor. You know, just like different careers that he was leaving the band for. And then the big punchline is he'll be making more money doing that.
Yes, Caitlyn Jenner's Brazilian wax therapist.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, Dan, thank you so much. Come and hanging out with me. Drinking
man.
a pint. We're gonna keep hanging out, but not with all you.
All right,
Cheers.
man.
Thank you so much. Hey, thank you all so much for listening right to the end. You know that I love that, and I really appreciate it. You know, dropping 3 episodes this week, bit intense, but, you know, I got a lot of content that I want to get out to all you guys, and I have 18 episodes to share. And honestly, if I was thinking about doing 2 a week, as I mentioned last week. I think that, you know, if I drop 2 a week, this would continue for the next 9 weeks, and I have a lot of content that I want to get out to all you guys and girls, so I decided to up the ante and drop 3 episodes a week and really just share all this great content with all of you. I have to give a huge shout out to John Asher, the publicist who hooked me up with Dan Cleary. If it wasn't for him, this episode wouldn't have happened, so a huge shout out to you, Asher. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a great week, a great weekend, and remember, enjoy life, metal, and craft beer. Cheers, Vox and Hops heads.